Good evening. It's June 28th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your newly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What separates our show from other millennial news podcasts?
That when most of our generation is using their time near a microphone to shout about how everyone's against Nazis, no one likes the Nazis, and blah, 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 we have enough historical reference, at least amongst the millennials at the table, to go, Prescott Bush wasn't so against them. Half the Dulles brothers thought they were pretty A-the-fuck okay. Enough that other people had to come in and be like, hey, look, I know you're plotting to overthrow everything and all that, but maybe your amphetamine hookup is the problem.
Yeah, could be.
We have a boomer, and not just any boomer. We have Mr. BoomerRex himself.
Yeah, good evening.
You two eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm learning that's three unique perspectives we share alone with the facts from our literal round table. We have coverage about today's January 6th hearings, but first, let's dig right into our headlines. School board candidates lose their elections.
So I always try to start out with a positive story or an interesting story about animals or, like baby aardvarks and so on. So today I really had to search. Two Georgia school board candidates who had criticized the hiring of a black educator for a DEI, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion position, have lost their runoff elections.
Good. Fuck them.
They had criticized her for wanting to bring CRT into which is
Black people cooties. That's it. I get it. I know what racists mean.
It's rarely if ever taught in K-12. It was complete garbage. So anyway, Sean Kaufman and Ray Lynch were defeated by wide margins on Tuesday. They were part of a four-candidate slate attempting to gain a majority for a more conservative, read bigoted, school board.
Yeah.
Their collective effort, dubbed Four Can Do More, was endorsed by the 1776 Project PAC, another bigoted.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So anyway.
Oh, yeah. Good thing.
Just cool. So, yeah, they didn't speak to our community. Let's see, District Chief Communications Officer Barbara Jacoby said that the group of people who targeted Lewis to win a majority on the school board, we do not support hate. We are deeply sorry for how Miss Lewis was treated and how Miss Lewis and her family were treated by the members of our community. So, anyway, turns out, get a little out of line and the town might react.
Yeah.
So...
Well,
let's keep pushing it that way.
We all need to remember that I don't think a lot of people have in their heads yet is when you hear people complaining about CRT being taught in schools,
you're listening to
those
a
are
bigot.
Racists.
Yeah.
Those are racists. End of discussion.
Right.
They are racist.
You can
somebody
just
say
shut 'em out.
foster or death panels.
And if you
know
listen
that
to
the
them,
conversation they are capable of
you
is
might be a
below
little racist and you just don't know it yet. It happens. It's okay. We can bring you back. Just keep listening. We'll get you there. Just
stay away from radioactive.
yes. Don't listen to crazies, and we'll bring you back into the fold. So don't feel bad if you've ever been concerned about CRT. Just understand, it is.
No, that was going to be my point.
Racist.
Is if your kid is going to a K-12 institution and learning about CRT, it's almost certainly an incredibly high-end private school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you are paying more than these people's households make it a year for tuition. So
And it's not bad for your
that
kids
was the
to
point of
learn.
those.
So
No.
let's just keep that in mind.
The
They
ability to look for and accurately identify the indicators for structural racism are
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
But again, that's the fundamentals
the
behind
reason why they don't want people to learn.
why somebody can look at the number of black men incarcerated in the United States
Yeah.
and say, oh, we've got a system that intentionally goes out and gets black men to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
So,
No matter how you choose to study it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. That's fucking what college courses are great about, is getting when we're still pretending that there's some trouble identifying signal to noise on a thing. Colleges are really good at going, here's the entire body of work. Like, how do I know cell phones don't cause cancer the way anyone's talked about previously?
Right.
Because that's never gotten more reinforced. And we have studied that enough that if there were any kind of signal, we'd have honed in on
We'd have
something.
seen it. Yeah.
But so I just wanted to remind y'all that CRT is literally just another term for I'm a racist or I'm a bigot. And again, if you were ever concerned about CRT because of something someone said to you, it doesn't necessarily make you racist. What I need you to understand is that you need to come back into the fold.
Yeah.
I need you to listen to a show, give us 2 weeks, and we'll help you understand and know that this is not something to be afraid about. And we actually
And
did
you'll
a
be able
whole
to
episode.
identify a source that's been lying to you.
Yeah. We did a whole episode on CRT, so feel free to go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, send me a message. I will kick you a link to that if you need it. So.
The nonsense about CRT in K-12
Yeah.
is nothing more than a holdover from the 60s. And if you
it's had many
elevate the
iterations.
status of the black man or explain why they have been less successful, what's the poor
That
white
implies
man
it took a
supposed to
nap.
feel he's superior to?
That implies it took a nap somewhere between the 60s, right? In the 80s and 90s, it was when they were talking about how they were going to teach phonics in schools.
Oh, yeah.
Right, there have always been various ways to go, black people are going to learn something different and force your kids to, too. And it's always been the same panic, but...
Yeah, but the panic is, I believe,
No, it's the otherization.
that when you explain why there is a difference in success between black and white, that you make the poor white man feel like maybe he fucked up, and he doesn't want to be
side with other poor people and not try and be the lapdog of the moneyed interests.
oh peace, but that involves him saying,
Yeah,
shit,
it's bad
I'm
everywhere.
not superior to these people. They have the same problems I do, etc., etc.
Superior to the vast
All right.
majority of humans I meet every day. No, what the problem is that when you push people down far enough, they begin to hang their sense of identity on immutable physical characteristics of themselves.
Yeah.
That's why only poor fucked people believe in racial supremacy of any race.
Yeah.
As
Again,
opposed-
it's just tribalism.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and it's more
They
important.
have to have a tribe they can identify with.
They have to have a tribe they can't get thrown out of because they've been
Uh-huh.
thrown out of one.
Yeah, true.
Right, that's what happened to the South. We threw them out, and they know it.
Yeah.
You were saying
no, I agree. But I just want to get us moving. We can always come back if you want to
I
discuss
don't
more.
remember it, but yeah.
Russia's bragging.
So
About what? They've got 2 shoes?
the missile attack on the mall, Russia is saying that was a successful military operation. That's the official propaganda line, right? At some point, I think we need to explain to the Russians that
Isn't
this,
that a crime or something?
yeah,
Yeah, war
No.
crime. Yeah.
yeah, this was a successful terrorist operation.
Fine.
At some point, we, the West, need to explain to the Russians that these will never be forgotten.
I'd lay Goom in the street
Right?
at max occupancy hours. Find someone in Russia who's got cancer and wants their family to get out and have a lot of money.
Yep.
What do you mean?
I mean, the CIA should go and find someone in Russia with cancer and give them a bomb. We've done it plenty of other times in plenty of other places.
No, it was
Or
just,
teach them how to make one. I don't much care.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I didn't hear what you said right or if I just didn't
I
understand.
said
the
we should
reference.
lay Goom in the street.
Lay goon.
It's the giant ass. So back during the bad old days of the Cold War, Russia was so dirt-eatingly poor. They had
They still
one
are.
store in Moscow.
Yeah. But you had to be somebody
Yeah.
to go there.
And so it's very much like FBO Schwartz or Mall of America. It's one of those.
It actually had Western products.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, German products.
Yes. Well, that's Western.
Ish.
And if it were
Western
1918, I might care about Crump Steel, but Germany's coasted a long time on not making very good bang bangs.
Fair.
I say wanting a German rifle, but
Fair. All right. The Handmaid's Tale is the goal.
it's like striking the Hermitage. It's
Okay.
like it's striking at a cultural thing, which is a war crime. But meh, I think the UN's gonna let us slide.
So anyway, in case you're actually interested in where the lunatic life wants to go,
Oh yeah, I saw
the host of the Red Elephant podcast, right, who spoke at the Million Maggot March, promised his followers that he and his followers would make the Handmaid's Tale a reality in the wake of Supreme Court's 6-3 Dobbs ruling overturning Roe v. Wade.
What else?
Who said this again?
Vincent James was one of the many speakers at an event in Washington when attendees and speakers, including a number of extremists, expressed support.
Yep.
So, anyway, fuck him.
I
But that's
haven't
where they
seen that
wanna
show
go.
yet. Does this mean I need to watch it so I know where we're headed? Because I have no idea.
No, he admitted. Are you done with him?
Yes.
He admitted that he's part of the Christian Taliban.
Yep.
And that they are going to do everything they can to make A Handmaid's Tale a reality, and much, much worse.
Yeah.
So, women, they aren't kidding. They're coming for you. It's time.
They
And
want
I
to make
could.
America
Risen,
the
you can answer
Taliban
this.
like
Risen, I need a
the
lady's perspective.
Okay, fine.
Is part of the attraction to these scumbag, like, douche canoes, not the, like, unfuckable types, but the ones that, like, appear to be having some sort of success? Right? Is that about having a dangerous male, like, on a leash? Is that...
Do they have money?
No. Or at least not, right, rich amounts. They're probably comfortable, but... Are they taking on dangerous, right? Why do girls fuck bad boys, is basically the...
I will say a
TV.
lot of it is related to ATV. B, we were told, or my generation was told, that if a guy teases you, makes fun of you, or treats you badly, it's because he likes
That's not that into
you.
Yeah.
He's just not that into you. It's a great movie for those of you who don't understand this sort of thing
And
to
the
watch.
book's good as
You
well.
learn some stuff. It's a fun movie. There's lots of good actors in it. It's amazing. It's fun. It's just a fun movie. But anyway, it's got good information in it. But I will honestly say that a lot of it is how they are raised, right?
Yeah.
So I was raised a particular way, which got me into some particular relationships in my life, which didn't work out so well for me. And I learned from my mistakes, and I moved on, and I'm in bigger, better places. But the point of the matter is that, you know, it's all where it all starts at home, and how your father treats your mother treats your father, all that stuff will lead you to different directions of who you're gonna date.
Yeah, well, and I assume that at least part of the reason this kid didn't take over the brand of, right, King Incel is why on earth would you pick that? Right, if you had any other choice.
Right.
So,
No, I think for most women it is, I mean, when you're a teenager in the early 20s, it's the bad guy vibe, always kind of gets you. You want to be with someone who's a little dangerous, maybe for the protection factor for yourself, because if you're with a guy who's a bit more on the dangerous side, you feel like you're less likely that some other guy is going to try to cause some problems. Especially for the prettier girls who have had issues.
getting hooted and hollered at.
And it can be scary. It can be truly terrifying. So,
Makes sense.
but that's just my thoughts.
And they've got it right. A number of these kids have socially constraining factors that are going to require that they marry at least someone who believes something articulately similar to what their parents believe.
And again, remember,
I think Christian Taliban would play well in most religious households at this point. I've seen little proof that the religious in America have any censor for extremism, other than, no, that's cool.
Yeah, again.
but again, I also was born and raised in New England, so that's its own mindset to start with. So I don't know how that translates to other states. So anyway, Trump's memory is hazy again. What's going on here?
Ah, yes.
I finally found something I actually like about Donald Trump.
How bad he
Is that he is so unimaginative that his lies always contain certain key phrases, right? Remember, one of the original ones is anytime Trump says, and they came to me and they said, sir,
that never happened.
he's lying, right? That didn't happen.
No, because wouldn't they always start Mr. President? Wouldn't that be...
I'm sure if I worked in that White House, I would have. That's the only possible way you keep from going, you there, fuck
you
up.
asshole. Yeah. So anyway, so his criticism of Cassidy Hutchinson, who was the key witness today, is so obviously a lie, right? And it says, I hardly know who this person Cassidy Hutchinson is, which is a standard Trump phrase. Like it's like a put down. Well, I didn't know them, so they're not very important.
Didn't he barely know who Spicer was?
Hey, I can tell. Oh yeah, no, I can tell you that there are at least 800 people under charges for January the 6th who wish they had never heard the orange asshole's name. So,
Well, I wish NBC hadn't, or ABC, or whichever, hadn't portrayed him as an American business leader.
oh God. Yeah, ABC has a
Stop
lot to
watching
answer
TV.
for. I hardly know who this person is, other than I heard very negative things about her. It's always attributed to somebody else. Anyway, the standard Trump lie. So fuck him.
I'll let you do the voice for Trump. You shouldn't do the voice as a rhetorical note.
Yeah, okay.
No, because we're too well cued for it.
Okay.
So good news, someone's overused it somewhere.
Yeah.
But for Trump, it's fine. Everyone gets to do their Trump impersonation. It's too easy to do.
Yeah.
Can I just say I'm still so mad that when we did the White House thing, the correspondence dinner, and I did my Trevor Noah impersonation of Trump, and it was so good, and we didn't get it recorded. I was so
that is
mad.
so sad.
I was so mad.
But no, when I saw that he was all of a sudden not remembering that person and they were barely in the room and they got people coffee or any with the standard. No, I've never met this. I am shocked to tell you to find out there's gambling going on.
Oh, God, yeah, right. Okay.
Well, at least that guy was a good guy.
Conventional politics will not fix this.
I did like that.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Democrats, wake the fuck up.
They really will put you up against the wall.
Yeah, they really will.
Like, again, they are publicly...
Are you suggesting they haven't already?
As soon as they get through doing the rhinos.
I'm saying we've been calling these cats the American Taliban for a decade at least.
Yes. And that's exactly who they are.
Cool. They're now calling themselves that.
Yep.
I'd like to point out, we called them Nazis in the 90s, and now they're showing up wearing Zagrunin. So...
Yep.
What is those?
The lightning bolts.
The lightning bolts. Oh, okay.
So anyway, now that we have this extremist kangaroo court, right, which is just overturning American democracy right and left, and we'll talk some more about that. But we've got people who are defending Joe Biden's limited response, right, and pointing out that executive power is limited and so forth. Jesus fucking Christ, people.
It wasn't so limited.
The way to mobilize people is to give them hope, to let them know that you're in the fight with them and looking for answers. From the limited but specific to the unorthodox. As Elizabeth Warren said, I don't understand why anybody goes to all the trouble of running for president just to talk about what we really can't do and shouldn't fight for.
Yep. Get them, Warren, get them.
Get off your fucking backs.
Yep.
Because I promise you, all the little cosplay Trumpies, when you stand up and step toward them, they're going to step back.
Yeah. I know if you don't,
they'll step forward. Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, that's why I liked AOC's line.
Yeah, no,
I see you got it in there. About you could try.
Yeah.
Well, and again, the Democrats had 2 months. 2 months to prepare for the Roe v. Wade coming down.
Yep.
What the fuck did they do in those 2 months?
Nothing. They don't have an
They
answer
did
yet.
jack and fucking shit. Democrats, what the hell, man?
Well, I
Corporate
think
Democrats.
probably they thought that,
It would never
there'd
happen.
be some bipartisan solution and it wouldn't happen. And
No, I don't think they believe there's a Bible. I don't believe... Yeah, they are that dumb. Never mind.
yeah, they are.
Institutionalists always are. This is the problem. This is why the youth in America is shopping around for a new phrase, because they're about to leave the Democratic Party. And yes, that probably means the last 2 times they get to vote, nothing will change.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like there's a lot left to this movie. All right, certainly not a lot of point to have the U.S. government around if this is the best it can do.
Yep.
Let's just see what the 320 odd million guns.
If the government can't meet its responsibility to arrange for people to have a living wage, decent health care, and a decent place to live, then fuck them.
Yep.
And if it can't arrange to tax the fucking oligarchs, fuck them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who needs them?
Yeah. It's useless, pointless, and it's not going to help anything.
Yep.
And I swear to God, if I see another person respond to some post saying some bullshit about, oh, you're telling me my hard-earned tax dollars aren't making sure that children are eating? No, it's not. Your hard-earned tax dollars are not making sure children are eating, because that's not what the government does.
Right. It gives tax breaks to the rich.
They tell you that's what they're doing, but instead all that money goes to the top 0.8%.
Oh, we'll talk about where some of that money went in a few minutes. So.
Anyway, Wisconsin's disappearing Democrats.
That's a problem, guys.
Yep. The point is, what has happened is that we've established a system that is really out to crush the two-party system. They don't want a two-party system. The oligarchs have worked for 50 years to have a system, a political system that they can control, and they've been very successful in Wisconsin.
I think a two-party system was on the way to that, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, because first of all, the Democrats fucking kowtowed to the ultra-rich. They're still doing it.
They became the left wing of the Republican Party.
Willingly.
Yeah. Well, they knew in their heart of fucking hearts that Americans weren't into this kicking down thing. I'm like, I don't know what Americans you've met that's true of. I haven't met one that isn't true for. Now, you can have to frame that in some ways, right? You can have to work at it, but every human everywhere is extra susceptible to fascism, and the French doubly so for denying they're susceptible at all.
Yeah.
But in any case, we need to recognize that it's been the established pattern of the American oligarchy to do away with the political system and just run it themselves.
That's oligarchs everywhere. That is what capital
absolutely
does.
Yeah. I look no further than Russia and Japan, where the rich run everything. In fact, in Japan, there is no government. It's all run by industrial conglomerates.
We're basically there because all of our people are run by that. Everybody in the government is run by big business. So.
Yep.
Then it will collapse the global
So
economy.
we probably ought to see if we can find a Democratic Party that young people will vote for and go out and take this away from the goddamn boomers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and hey, boomers, one thing you should at least be thinking about
is that people with
is
bad
that if
hips
you
don't wanna be
oppose,
having
is-
dumpsters for food.
if you continue as a group to publicly oppose making America work for all Americans, you're going to wind up finding Social Security disappearing
That'll
because
be
nobody will save it.
It'll be what the money kid Republicans will pivot to if they can't
Absolutely.
get the Republican base under
Well,
control.
that's where the money still is, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get rid of Social Security and Medicare,
then everyone's
there's
too
a lot
desperate
more
covering
money.
their own daily needs to worry
there's
about
a lot
anyone
more
else's.
money to give tax breaks
Yes.
to the rich.
But more importantly, the thing that actually works and affects voters, right? The reason why Democrats' inability to move on any of this, even go out and lose, right? Just get us the name of the Democrats who aren't sure that they think Roe v. Wade ought to be a right.
They should all disappear.
That will drive people to not vote, and that favors the Republicans, right? That's the problem for Democrats, is they have to get at least a half a loaf on every round, or they lose voters.
Better wake up, Democratic Party. You're going to get stomped.
Because you can talk about how much millennials show up. The millennials are 40 now, but Gen Z's showing up, that's questionable. All youth voting has. If the older ones start telling them not to, it'll go to 0.
Yeah.
And Democrats can't win an election at that point. You cannot get enough independent, read Republican voters.
Right.
Again, I can identify which party an independent belongs in, or whatever their flag is.
If they say they're independents, what they are is embarrassed to admit they're Republicans.
You'll get a handful of pro-gun.
No, I used to call myself independent, but I was.
Have you learned anything
Democratic.
since then?
I was always Democratic. I
Okay.
just didn't.
Those were different
said
times.
I was independent. Yeah.
So,
but I'm just saying. I'm sure there's other people
No,
out
you
there
have
who are
program
like-
Democrats and the rest. What you can do is identify which party they fit in by asking about 4 questions.
I'm just trying
No,
not to
moderates
alienate
died
people.
as a breed because, like pandas, they couldn't even fuck to keep themselves alive.
so I haven't met an independent in 10 years who
Huh.
is a Democrat. So, again, they're just embarrassed Republicans.
Or under 50, but yeah.
Or what?
Under 50, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How Mississippi lawmakers spend BP oil spill money.
Oh, God. So, anyway, they got $750 million as part of the settlement for BP. And they have been spending it on little penny packet things that have produced today exactly 33 equivalent full-time jobs.
Hell yeah.
So, again, they got this money, and typical of politicians in many places, they said, oh, look, money fell out of the sky. Let us divide it among ourselves and our friends, which is exactly what Mississippi is doing.
That's why I support the marine biologist I know who microwaved someone's insulin.
Why?
Because she's an officer in the United States Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard was putting out protection for senators' houses on beaches as opposed to helping anybody. And so she decided that whoever needed insulin in that senator's house probably didn't need it that bad.
Yeah.
Fair.
Or he, who knows.
So anyway, they're using cash to fill gaps in local government budgets and fund projects with no metrics of success. They disregarded the input of an advisory board, et cetera, et cetera. It's the standard scam. How do we distribute them?
Their input wasn't, let's go have a money fight in the backyard.
Right.
They were no fun.
All right. Boomer Rex is about damn time. Tell me the good news.
I bet if you got hookers and meth for your advisory board like they did for the U.S. Geological one.
They do whatever you're supposed to. Yeah.
Just like the U.S. Geological one did.
Yep. So anyway, no, this one I know has come up before, but I finally got to read the whole thing and so forth and so on. Do you remember back when we were talking about Italian satellites hacking voting machines
Yeah.
to convert votes from Trump to Biden and so
Is it a
forth?
movie plot?
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, you're talking about a conspiracy theory so stupid. Just, again, it's just part of the Trump big lie, right? But this one was complete idiocy. So
It was that and not talking to people. Right, because if people knew more about the history of satellites, like the period when we had to like fly around with airplanes and a net to catch the film and stuff,
yeah,
they would not be as impressed with satellites as they are.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
So anyway, Trump was trying to get DOD and DOJ to investigate it and told one of the DOD guys, you guys don't follow the internet the way I do.
That's probably for the best.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He means 4chan.
Doesn't seem to be doing well for him.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is, these claims were
Yes, sir.
In
We
the
don't go to
words-
things that are wrong.com.
in the words of
Live.com. TrumpGoHere.com.
these were described by his own staff as pure insanity. People were talking about how insanely crazy this is. The White House chief of staff demanded that DOJ and DOD investigate whether Italian military satellites were used to manipulate voting machines.
This is what happens when you get all of your technical information from fucking primetime television.
Seriously, I want to make a website called WeTellLies.com, and at the top of it, it'll just say, everything on this webpage is a lie.
Right.
And just make up the most insane shit, use movie plots, story plots, whatever. Just make up some crazy shit and see how much of it reaches the actual media.
Once the rules fall down and I'm done working my list, I'm going after every satire.
Yeah, like the
So anyway,
yeah.
apparently he got a cabinet secretary to phone the Italian government and ask whether the Italian satellites were changing votes. No wonder Europe thinks we're stupid.
Well, Europe can space suck it.
Italy, do you care who we vote for president? No? Cool. All right. Done.
Yeah.
That was hard. Good
If I
job,
were Europe,
Italy.
I would snicker either very quietly or practice Russian very loudly.
Fair. Oh my gosh. Pecos, our cat, just found a cricket and he is having so much fun.
Was he? Did he eat it?
No,
Not
he's
yet.
playing with it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
adorable. Okay. Sorry, I got
Cool.
distracted by cuteness.
No, I may have to watch
Are
the
we
cat.
done talking about Italian
Oh,
satellites?
yeah.
It's funny. It is real funny.
I
I
well,
just
the thing
picture
that we're,
Mario. It's me, Mario. I'm changing your votes.
oh my God. No, and what we're finding out now,
People.
what we're finding out now is how deeply these idiotic conspiracy theories
Go.
penetrated the Trump White House.
Yeah.
Right. And just
No, there is no blood-brain barrier left for the Republican Party.
Yeah.
If 3 people say it on 4chan, Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to quote it by the end of the day.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, what the hell? I saw Boomer today talking about, right, church should be telling state what to do, which, oh, okay, cool. No, that's fine. You can absolutely set up your government that way. That would be fine. I would highly advise doing me in before you do that.
As I'm saying, I swore an oath to do something different. You might want to remember that.
That's not a government I acknowledge. So
Right.
Well, and I think what a lot of people are forgetting, okay, is that our nation was founded on separating church from state.
Is it forgetting?
That was the whole fucking point.
If you pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to invent quotes,
Yeah.
it's big business getting rid of all of that knowing and understanding.
I always found it interesting that Republicans are far more subject to that than Democrats.
Again, I think it's that magical thinking.
Yeah, that and whatever the desire for religion is, because right, religion is right. Everyone in the Bible, everyone in every holy text, but right, we'll talk about the Bible here currently. They're all good people, completely. There isn't a bad side, right? Whatever bad sides they supposedly have are washed away by the thing.
Okay.
It's like the portion of America that can't accept that. There's some bad things to be said about Abraham Lincoln. Right? Suspending the right of habeas corpus is fucking questionable, to say the best.
Yep.
But some people can't have that. They can't deal with the fact that America has a good side and a bad side.
Yep.
Right? That we used the Marine Corps to install and maintain banana republics. That's why their uniforms were so nice. They were made by slaves.
Oh, hey,
Who
here's
had to
something.
care about quality control, or
I have a question that we can teach our viewers. What is a banana republic?
pretty much everywhere we spent the 30s. Everywhere Dole has interests.
In a real sense, yes.
Yeah.
That
It really was about
It
We
was about
over-
bananas, yeah.
agriculture.
It was about keeping certain fruit companies profitable in other countries.
Over
And
other
whenever the
countries.
country showed any indication that they might want their people to benefit or whatever,
We'd send in the Marine Corps.
we sent in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Marine Corps literally invented a new bullet to shoot Filipinos with. That's the
So,
irony.
so we shouldn't go shopping at that store, Banana Republic. That's bad.
No, just as a culture, probably not.
Oh, I always hated the clothes in there. They were way too fucking yuppie for me. Anyway, dumbass of the day. Oh, this makes me happy.
You gotta
Every
love
time I
this
see
one.
her fucking stupid name,
I know.
go.
So anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene puts up a sign outside her office in the Capitol building, says, "There are two genders, male and female."
Oh, yeah, I remember we had a
And
big
so
discussion.
people start walking by and slapping stickers on it,
Yeah.
right? And she says, "People are attacking me with stickers that are mocking me using Bible verses, etc., etc., etc." So anyway, she claimed she had
God, that would be
identified
fun, though.
the person who had defaced the sign as a staffer for Representative Jake Ossenschloss of Massachusetts, who declined to fire the staffer.
Good.
And
I
of
hope he
course, the
got
Department of
promoted.
Justice has also refused to press criminal charges. So let me explain something to you, honey. They're not attacking you. They're laughing at you.
Yeah. That's why they're using Bible verses too. Which would be fun.
Absolutely.
Because, hell, I don't care about your fan fiction, but I do know how to quote a fair amount.
Yeah.
Because, man, that'll fuck up Southerners. I'm like, no, I don't give a shit about it. But, hey, something about twigs and modes. And
Can we have an interesting side discussion here?
What's up?
Now, I've mentioned before that I was raised Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Do you want to know the strangest thing about all the years I spent in CCD, which is Sunday school for those of you who don't know, and all that stuff? I don't know the Bible as well as, say, like you do. And this was my life. I believed it, and they didn't teach it to me,
I wanted
which is
magic to be real.
intriguing. No, it's just an interesting thought for people to keep in their minds who were also raised like me in the Roman Catholic Church. How much did you really learn?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I went out looking for commonality amongst the world's religions and found woefully little, which is how you know there's no magic there.
No. FTC sues Walmart for scammers. For scammers or for scams?
Their money transfer unit was used to allow money transfer services, by scam artists who stole literally hundreds of millions of dollars. In the lawsuit, the agency alleged that for years, Walmart failed to properly secure the money transfer services offered at its stores, didn't properly train its employees, failed to alert customers, and used procedures that allowed fraudsters to cash out at its stores. And the Federal Trade Commission is asking the court to order Walmart to return money to consumers.
Oh, good.
And to impose civil penalties on the company.
Good job.
They used the scammers used money transfer services to make off with the cash, while Walmart looked the other way and pocketed millions in fees. So we'll see how that one turns out. I'd love to see that one land.
No, I think that would be good. Because
we might try it on some banks too.
Can I just specify? I don't feel that Walmart is inherently evil. Okay, a Walmart store, your local Walmart store is not inherently evil. Okay, it's the people on the very tippity top. They don't give a fuck. Okay, excuse me. They give a fuck about very specific things, and that is money. End of discussion. They don't care about their people. They don't care about whatever. They care about money. Well, power comes with money.
That discriminates Walmart from many other U.S. businesses in what way?
Exactly. This is what corporations do. No,
this is the oligarchy.
I think there's something inherently weird about them for the controlling the air conditioning for all their stores out of Arkansas.
Yeah,
and the music. That's what puts Walmart in a category its own.
Yep.
And all U.S. corporations, and the fact that they annually steal more money from the citizens of the United States than criminals of the United States.
Yeah.
Well, corporations believe they have an option for it to not be a long con. They can just go become refugee corporation. They can really flex that multinational part of their.
Yep.
All right. Updates with Boomer Rex. Let's talk about some health threats.
So this one was the first time I'd seen actual measurements. The currently, and they have become dominant, the currently dominant versions of COVID, that is BA4 and 5, are about 5 times as likely to evade vaccine and illness-produced.
Interesting.
So, anyway, that's up from kind of 2.5 for 212.1, which was the previous dominant, right? So we continue to develop these new variants that are capable of escaping the vaccine. So anyway, beware.
All right.
Infections are going up in most of the states across the country. So.
All right. Climate weirding.
So this one I thought was worthy of reporting, and then maybe keeping an eye on. So the United Arab Emirates. The state-owned oil and gas company, Qatar Energy, said it had joined a new energy-led initiative to reduce methane emissions from all their operations by 2030. Now, again, that's a long time frame, but it's an interesting idea because, as we've talked about before, the escape of methane into the atmosphere is much worse than the escape of CO2. And it doesn't come from burning methane it comes from letting it go free.
Yeah.
And it has a value, right? So natural gas is like 80% methane, right? So anyway, the idea of energy companies starting to look at ways to reduce the escape of methane, that's a good idea because they have both the means, the motive, and the opportunity. Right? So we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that UAE had not joined any of the previous climate agreements. And now one of their big companies is, supposedly going to go look and see if they can help. And again, they're doing it because methane's worth money. But I don't care why they do it as long as they do it.
Yeah.
Again, it's like all the methane pouring out of the Texas wells. Jesus Christ, somebody, go put a goddamn
Bitcoin miner or whatever.
Yeah, go put a generator and a Bitcoin miner next to the hole. So, anyway.
All right.
That's all I got.
Cool. So let's dig into the January 6th committee hearings. We spoke about it a couple times very briefly, but let's talk about the big meat. So, first of all, I'm going to say
In the big pregame show.
that this was there was a lot going on today. Okay, a lot came
Yeah, this was
out.
not wasted time.
Cassidy Hutchinson, I must say, is our second most compelling witness.
Okay.
Underneath Ruby and her daughter, Miss Ruby and her
Yeah.
daughter. Miss Ruby and her daughter, I still think, have been the most heartfelt, compelling. You know, you can't not believe their story, right? You can't look at that on its face and be like, you're lying.
Personally, I would agree. I think in terms of talking to the people who took the Capitol, this was the most effective.
No, as far as, you know, but I was talking about everything as a whole.
Yeah.
Because Cassidy Hutchinson was the only witness today. So to say she was today's most valuable witness is kind of an understatement. I would say that as far as speaking of like you said, the insurrection itself, she wins as most valuable witness. But overall, of all the witnesses we've heard, as far as who was the most compelling and most believable, Ruby and her daughter.
If you think there was a problem with what happened, they don't matter. But this girl might.
Yeah.
Right.
And she has that benefit of being white and
Well,
having worked for
but
the
I
crazy.
don't want to downplay Miss Ruby and her daughter's plight
To the people
because
who already agree with us, I'm sure. To the people who don't, they don't matter.
Anyway, Trump's NPR wrote an article. Trump's legal exposure may be growing, and four other takeaways from the January 6th hearing. June 28th, 2022. Explosive first-hand testimony was delivered Tuesday before the January 6th committee from a former Trump White House aide about the former president's conduct on the day of the insurrection and those leading up to it. Cassidy Hutchinson, who was a principal aide to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, testified under oath about a volatile and angry president. Trump, she said, was prone to throwing dishes and even once grabbed the wheel of the presidential limousine because that's how badly he wanted to go to the Capitol with the rioters. Trump and Meadows, Hutchinson said, knew of the potential for violence before January 6th. The names of violent white supremacist groups who showed up at the Capitol that day were being bandied about in the White House when the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was around. Trump knew people who showed up at his speech on January 6th had weapons and was furious. The many were being stopped by magnetometers when the insurrection was taking place. Meadows seemed to have little reaction while Trump didn't care. He didn't want to do anything, Pat, Meadows said, per Hutchinson, in a conversation with White House lawyer Pat Cipollone, who was urging Meadows to push Trump to tamp down the violence. Cipollone responded, "Mark, something needs to be done, or the blood is going to be on your effing hands." I'm sure he said fucking hands, so let's go with that. There were lots of other eyebrow-raising accounts, just like that one in the hearing that was announced only the day before. The committee, in announcing the hearing, said only that there was new information that had come to light. Here are 5 key takeaways from the hearing. 1, we'd heard about Trump's temper throughout his life, but this was the most vivid detailing of it during his tenure as president.
Yeah.
Trump said at one point during the 2016 presidential campaign that he could be so presidential everyone would be bored. Hutchinson painted a picture of a volatile man who was far from what Americans have long expected of their presidents of how their presidents should comport themselves. Here's some of what she recounted. She said that she told Trump grabbed the steering wheel. She was told, Trump grabbed the steering wheel of the presidential limousine and put his hands on the clavicles of the Secret Service agent driving the car. And those involved didn't dispute the account. Multiple times those involved didn't dispute the account, okay? Trump had grown irate when he heard the Secret Service said it couldn't secure the area around the Capitol and Trump had to be taken to the White House. I'm the fucking president, Trump thundered. They wrote effing, I'm saying fucking. Take me to the Capitol now. The agent refused. Trump had a penchant for throwing dishes, Hutchinson recalled, going into the presidential dining room on December 1st, 2020, after Bill Barr had said in an interview that there was no evidence of widespread fraud in the election. Hutchinson found ketchup dripping from the wall and a shattered plate on the ground. The president was extremely angry with Barr's interview. Hutchinson said, had thrown his lunch against the wall. Hutchinson grabbed a towel and helped staff clean the wall. Hutchinson said there were several times throughout her tenure with Meadows when Trump threw dishes and flipped the tablecloth in the dining room so contents of the table broke or went everywhere. The committee is methodically trying to establish intent and premeditation. It's a difficult threshold to reach, but the committee is deliberately and intentionally laying out the building blocks for intent and premeditation. At Tuesday's hearings, it showed. Meadow was told of intelligence ahead of January 6th that the day could get very violent. He shared that with Trump. But Meadows rarely had any reaction or seemed surprised at all and was equally unperturbed by the violence on the day of the insurrection, according to Hutchinson. Meadows participated by phone, though he wanted to go in person for a briefing with Roger Stone and retired General Michael Flynn in the war room they had set up on January 5th in the Willard Hotel. Stone and Flynn were intimately involved in the Stop the Steal movement. There are pictures of Stone with white supremacist militia functioning as his bodyguard on January 6th. Flynn had been linked to the QAnon conspiracy and pleaded the fifth, the right to not incriminate yourself, on multiple occasions before the January 6th committee, including when asked simply if he believed in the peaceful transfer of power in the United States. Trump knew of violent people in the crowd, knew they were armed, didn't want their weapons taken away, and didn't feel threatened. I don't care that they fucking have weapons, they said effing again. Trump said, according to Hutchinson. They're not here to hurt me. Let them in. Take the mags away. Trump noted they could march to the Capitol afterward. Instead, he was more concerned that the crowd wouldn't look as big as he wanted it to in pictures and was firing them up, encouraging them to go to the Capitol after his speech. Trump resisted calls to tamp down the violence, and Hutchinson quotes Meadows saying Trump thought Vice President Mike Pence deserved to be hanged. He doesn't want to do anything, Meadows said of Trump per Hutchinson. These are his people. At another point, Hutchinson said she overheard Meadows telling Cipollone, who was urgently telling Meadows about the violence and that they are chanting to hang Pence. You heard him, Pat. He thinks he deserves it. He doesn't think they're doing anything wrong. There's nothing explicit so far of people testifying that Trump said he wanted supporters to violently storm the Capitol, but there are lots of breadcrumbs. 3. White House lawyer was worried about the legal exposure for Trump and the White House. This is a short one, good. With Trump pushing hard to be allowed to go to the Capitol with his supporters, as many White House aides testified, Cipollone was concerned that he and others at the White House could be charged with crimes if Trump did go. His message to Hutchinson and Meadows when it came to Trump wanted to go to the Capitol, make sure it doesn't happen.
We are going to get charged with every crime imaginable if that happens, Cipollone said per Hutchinson. She noted that Cipollone said it would look like Trump was inciting a riot and there could be charges related to obstruction of Congress and conspiracy to defraud the United States because of blocking the counting of electoral votes. The committee also revealed on Tuesday that the potential crimes committed weren't just in the past. Toward the end of the hearing, Vice Chair Liz Cheney warned of potential witness tampering. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yep.
4, add Meadows and Giuliani to the list of those who sought pardons. Speaking of legal exposure, Hutchinson testified that her boss Meadows and Giuliani sought pardons but didn't get them. In the last hearing, there were about half a dozen Republican members of Congress who were also named as seeking pardons. Now, again, like those Republican members of Congress, it's not explicitly known why they were asking for pardons, if they believed they did anything illegally, or if they simply thought a Democratic administration would target them. But Meadows did speak with Stone and Flynn, as did Trump, and Giuliani was identified Tuesday as someone mentioning the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys before January 6th in the corridors of the West Wing. A lot of people were worried about legal exposure, but the question continues to be what legally will come of these hearings. The January 6th committee is not a law enforcement body, and it's not clear what is happening at the Justice Department and the FBI from an investigative standpoint as it relates to the White House on January 6th. And the last one, 5. Republicans largely have their fingers in their ears about these hearings. Hutchinson is a Republican. In fact, almost everyone testifying during these hearings have been Republicans, from White House staff and lawyers to campaign aides and state election officials. These were people working for Trump's White House trying to get him reelected or others who voted for him. It's hard to know what will move the needle of politics nowadays with such entrenched partisanship, or if this will potentially damage Trump in the medium term because of all the drama attached to him. But Republican viewers right now are not turning into the primary source evidence. A CBS YouGov poll conducted last week found that while almost 7 in 10 Democrats are following the hearings, some or a lot, just about a quarter of Republicans are less than half of independents, and less than half of independents, sorry. Overall, half of respondents said they think Trump was trying to stay in office through legal means. More than 8 in 10 Democrats and 51% of independents thought so, but just 13% of Republicans did.
Yep.
While 80% of Republicans think the January 6th committee should recommend Trump be charged with crimes, 44% of independents feel the same, and just 8% of Republicans do. It's hard to hear a tree fall in a forest when you're thousands of miles away.
And studiously not looking at forests, but
Yeah.
listening for tree sounds. No, that poll's interesting and explains why Fox News and OAN have taken a turn.
Yep.
Because if they can keep us focused on talking about Trump and then downshift into DeSantis, then so much the better.
Yeah, but no, I was very happy with the ending and how they brought up the fact that there has been attempted witness tampering and they are not taking it lightly.
And, naked. This is, when Roger Stone was threatening to kill that guy's dog, or whatever with that guy's dog, and all the other things, that was wildly, that was better use of euphemisms, all the things that make Roger Stone fun to watch when he's not burning a fucking republic down.
But I like, what's his name? The head guy who's running it. I always forget his name, and I shouldn't. Because I'm bad.
Kensington, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But his warning, basically saying, look, if you've got any information, come forward now and we'll listen to you. If you're going to keep being shitty and say you don't remember or have this haze, if anything you've watched has brought something back to the forefront of your memory and suddenly made it start working again, we will listen to you. So I love that he gave them, what's the term I'm looking for?
a place to come out of, right?
Yeah.
Like, he reached out to them. Olive branch. That's what I'm looking for. He handed out an olive branch and was like, come on.
Benny Thompson.
Benny Thompson. I love him. He's wonderful. So Thompson offered the olive branch, and we'll see who grabs onto it.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I love the way he worded it, because he basically said, look, either you take the olive branch, or we're coming for you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate and respect that, because he's not wrong.
Hey.
And that's what should happen.
Milquetoast Garland, get on the stick.
Mm-hmm. No, all you fucking idiots.
Well, you still got time.
Grab the stick while you can, because what's going to happen is all your little friends are going to grab it before you, and then you're going to be the one on the fucking end of the hook.
Yep.
Instead of on the stick, you'll be on the hook, and I'd rather be on the stick any day of the week. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review. Smash that like button on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, on Facebook for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can also now go to patreon.com and search for BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, and give us $1 that way as well. So, yeah. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerX, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter, at BRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us. We love you all. We'll see you back here tomorrow night for more BoomerRexTonight.
For the quarter of Republicans stuck in a party that's going crazy around them.